Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for joining us over here to celebrate the World Telecommunication and Information Society Day 2024, as ITU has stipulated every year on the 17th of May. We will celebrate this day. We're doing it a couple of days early, especially we've had this wonderful conference through the day looking at the future, not just for technology, but what is there for India. With the future in 6G. The theme this year for the World Telecommunication and Information Society Day is Digital Innovation for Sustainable Development. And this is something which is very important, not just for India, but for the whole world. We have with us our valued chief guest, Shri Rohde, Chairman TRAI, with us today, and a host of other eminent speakers who would be giving us a brief talk and then followed by dinner. I would request now Dr. S.N. Gupta, Treasurer BIF, to please come and give the welcome note. Sir.
Thank you, Arun. Good evening, everyone. It's indeed a great honor and pleasure for me to welcome all of you for this great event, the celebration of World Telecom and Information Society Day. And for that, I'm really thankful to our board, BIF, to give me this opportunity. Honorable Chief Guest, Shri Anil Kumar Rohde ji, Chairman TRAI. I'm proud to be his ex-colleague, but that was 40 years back in railways. And we also have our other guest, the Mr. Raghunandan ji, the Secretary TRAI, Mr. Sakya, who is holding the charge of Senior Advisor, ITU Asia Office for South Asia, and our friend Kishore Babuji, ITU Area Representative for Southeast Asia Pacific. And we are expecting few more guests, especially Dr. Abhay Krandikar, Secretary, Department of Science and Technology, will be joining us. So welcome you all and also everyone. So my role is very simple because since morning we have been talking about the subject by a lot of experts actually. A lot of things have been told about. Let me start with what Arun already mentioned, the theme of this year. Actually every year ITU have a theme for the World Telecom and Information Society Day. And this year the theme is Digital Innovation for Sustainable Development. Actually, it's a very apt topic, actually. But we from Broadband India Forum have also taken it as an extension of 6G event, which happened during the day. And as you know, the India 6G vision, actually, it gels very well with the theme of ITU, the Digital Innovation for Sustainable Development. Actually, when last year India, the Honorable Prime Minister announced the 6G vision, actually there were three main pillars were mentioned there. And one was affordability, the second was sustainability, and third was ubiquity. Actually, ITU, and that happened a few months back in WRC in Dubai, when they were adopting the definition of 6G, actually they almost took 50% of the elements from the India vision, actually, and it was given a big credit for that. And as you know, this 6G, actually, the main thing, ubiquity, actually, and today, because of this year, theme related to sustainable development, the sustainability was one of the element or pillar used there. And the other one was ubiquity. Actually, ubiquity has been repeated many times in the vision document of India as well as of ITU, actually. And ubiquity is not just about connectivity. Ubiquity connectivity. Then ubiquitous intelligence, actually that is a new word added from AI ML. And then the ubiquity computing also, ubiquitous computing, intelligence and connectivity. Of course, 6G is related to that connectivity. And when we go to the SDG goal, the sustainable goal, and we all know the 17 Sustainable Development Goal of ITU, which was actually announced in 2016 actually. And since then, all of us have been working, all the governments are signatory to that. And as a part of that goal, UN also have come out with what is called 2030 connectivity agenda. That is what will make those goals happen actually. And in the goal number 9, if you know, the 3 I's of that goal actually, industry, innovation and infrastructure. Actually that goal itself takes everything from what is the 6G vision actually. The goal number 9 can be helped with the 6G vision of India, which have been more or less adopted by the ITU actually. And this is talking about that Connect 30 agenda is talking about the emerging technologies. Of course, that time 6G was not even talked about, it was 5G and IMT 30. IMT 30 actually is equivalent to what we talk about 6G. Since morning we are reading about that. And IMT 30, the 30 here indicates this technology will be available in 2030. And that is what 6G will become available. Since morning we were learning. In addition to that, the technology things talked about in the Connect 30 agenda, in addition to 5G, they have also talked about some technology, and it is not just a coincidence. Everything is having 6 in that actually, like Wi-Fi 6E, everyone is talking, and Chairman TV Saab morning also he mentioned the 6G cannot happen without Wi-Fi 6. And that is true actually, because in building, a lot of experts have been mentioning about the 6G and the type of frequency and any frequency beyond 3.5 gigahertz, the 5G frequency and all that. They will have a challenge to penetrate inside the building. Till morning we were trying to find out the solution, but I think no solution came, and we were listening very carefully to Mr. Pradeep Bharadwaj, who has come from UK, and he made presentation. But till now, a solution for in-building in the license frequencies beyond 3.5 gigahertz is yet to be discovered actually. So for that, as President TV Saab mentioned, Wi-Fi is the only solution. And it is not just the only solution. Actually, it can do the job. Whatever 6G is promising to do by 2030, actually Wi-Fi 6E can do it today. And there are proof, the advanced type of Wi-Fi. And for that, luckily we have the TRI chairman here. TRI has been working on that for many years. They have recommendations also. In addition to that, the other 6 of this 6G ecosystem is IPv6 actually. That is also called new internet or next generation internet. As you know, the V4, version 4 of the internet address space is more or less exhausted now. And for the number of addresses we need in new IoT kind of thing, 5G, 6G. So there you need a lot of address which are not there. So you have no option then to migrate to IPv6 actually. And that is also mentioned in this. So all these 6 are going in parallel with each other. And one thing actually about all these things, after listening all since morning, I remember what our Honorable Prime Minister, when he was inaugurating ISA, the International Solar Alliance, which is headquartered in Gurgaon, as you know. And that time Prime Minister mentioned, and he coined a term called one sun, one world. So he meant that there should be like sunlight should be same, it should be global and only one, and it should be a sort of public good. So now if we see the 6G and the UN agenda of digital innovation, Actually, there is a similar thing actually we have been talking about, and that is one world, one network. And one network means that is the interoperability, because other elements of 6G are related to interoperability, interworking. Interworking, there they are talking about not only IMT, not only terrestrial. So you have to go beyond terrestrial. This is called non-terrestrial, and that is the satellite. And IMT alone, though IMT is a world standard, but it should work, your 6G network should work for non and IMT also. And that is what is the interworking. So all these elements are required. So we feel actually and going by the India contribution, what we are talking about, the sunlight, air, same way the network also should become, by all this technology and innovation, it should become what is called a global public good. Global public good means it is universal, ubiquitous. The ubiquitous word is the main thing here. Global public good means it will become the network, or let us say access to the internet will become like we have sunlight. Free to all, just non-discriminatory, and available everywhere. Ubiquitous means, and that is what our government have been talking, and especially Prime Minister, leaving no one behind, like connecting the unconnected or leaving no one behind. And this ubiquitous word, and that has been the theme of now 6G vision. And with that, I am really thankful to all the guests from TRAI, especially the chairman, secretary, and also ITU. We have the two stalwarts, our own friend Kishore Babuji, who is the head of the ITU for Asian region, and Mr. Sakya, who is heading our local office or regional office of India. So it is a great thing. And I'm also, I'm also thankful to see Mr. Manish Shinaji, our friend from DOT member finance, and I will like to welcome Manish ji also to spare his time and all. So with that, I'm really like to thank all of you for patient hearing, and also BIF for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, SN sir, for that nice welcome note. And now I would request our esteemed speakers to please come on the stage. I would request our chief guest, Shri Anil Kumar Lahoti. Sir, please, if you could join us on the stage. I invite Shri Manish Sinha, sir. Please, sir, if you could join us on the stage. Shri Radhakrishnan Shakya and Mr. Kishore Babu, please, to join us on the stage. Mr. Akhilesh Srivastav, sir, please, if you would join us on the stage too. Thank you. I think, sir, sorry, Mr. Professor Kiran Puchi, if you could just get that changed. Please, sir. So, thank you. I now have the pleasure of inviting Mr. Kishore Babu to address the audience. Shri Kishore Babu is the ITU area representative for Southeast Asia and the Pacific. We're very pleased to have him here since he's flown into India, especially for an event based on Girls for ICT, and to be with us today. We thank him for that. Shri Kishore Babu he's a telecom professional with over 29 years of experience in public policy, development in ICTs, development programs and projects of national significance. Sorry. Okay, thank you. significance. Active coordination with international, national organizations in industry and public sector functions. But I will take a moment out, please, because we would like to felicitate and thank and welcome our chief guest, Shri Anil Kumar Rohde, with a bouquet of flowers, which I request Brigadier Anil Tandon, if he could do that, please. Mr. Shashidharan, I'm sorry, please do come up on the stage. I'm extremely sorry I missed your name. How can I miss you, sir? Thank you. So with that, I hand over to Shri Kishore Babu. Sir, please, I request you.
Very, very good evening to all of you. And I see distinguished seniors and Chairman Troy and all my distinguished senior officers from Department of Telecom and Industry, and many of my distinguished colleagues who have been excelling in their own way. I can see them in audience as well. And on behalf of ITU, I take this very opportunity, first and foremost, to thank all of you for arranging this eve of World Telecommunication and Information Society Day. And when we heard first from the communication from BIF that they want to host an eve, because there are many places in the country, including in Hyderabad and other places, they're hosting this World Telecom Information Society Day. Perhaps this is going to be the first one in this series of celebrations. Thank you very much, and let us give a big hand to them. Actually, being a first speaker, perhaps, I get certain advantage, okay? Some of the things perhaps I may be mentioning, which I will be taking from my, the speakers who are going to, speak further. I just have one question to make, this engagement more interactive. How many of you know that when did India become a member of ITU? Any guesswork? It was in 1869. ITU got constituted in the Telegraph Conference in 1865. Please imagine that time India has been a big and largest telegraph network. So from 1869, we have been engaging with ITU, and we have been participating in many programs. Like, for example, S.N. Gupta ji mentioned about how India supported in drafting the 6G vision plan. Great. Some of you might have heard about something called 5GI. That is the only second standard which got approved, apart from the 3GPP driven standard a few years back. And of course, afterwards we have got from IET and as well as IEEE and other sources as well. So that way, India's engagement, especially in ITU affairs, has been growing strong and deeper, especially not just adoption of standards and adoption of policies. Now, India is able to contribute on policy perspective, standards perspective, as well as drafting the vision, shaping the ICT vision globally. Thank you very much for all the support and efforts from regulator as well as policy makers, and most importantly, think tanks like BIF as well as industry members. Many, many thanks to you once again. You may be knowing that when it started this WTISD, several years before, it was just called World Telecom Day. But later, after realizing that, in telecommunications, ICTs, they become integral part of the ecosystem, it is changed to World Telecommunication and Information Society Day. So now, both Information Society and Telecom, together celebrate May 17th, which is the foundation day of ITU, to celebrate and commemorate the accomplishments, success stories of all of you again and again. You may be knowing that in 2023, the theme of the WTISD. How many of you are aware the theme of WSD 2023? It was about commemorating LDC's and LLDC's accomplishment and identifying the gaps. The theme was contributed by Indian administration. So this year's theme is about how innovation can be for sustainable development, thanks to the ever-growing, strong innovation ecosystem of the country, especially supported and driven by all the stakeholders who I mentioned. They are going to be, I should say that the pillars as well as the foundation for a strong ecosystem which is growing under Digital India or Make It Any perspective. And here I was I was discussing with some of the colleagues here, how do we enhance engagement with ITU? That's the most important one. Like last year, with a lot of aspirations, we started hosting India office, that is South Asia as well as innovation center in the country. You're all aware. Hope you're all aware. There's an ITU office in New Delhi, hosted in a CDOT premises. Thank you very much. And this center, if you look at, this is different from other centers. There are many area offices are there who are administrative control. Like for example, my office, it looks after 11 countries in Southeast Asia and as well as Pacific. But whereas India office, apart from area office responsibilities of 8 countries, it is also the innovation center for the region, innovation center for the world. So there's a huge opportunity for Indian ecosystem to partner and contribute. Thank you very much. I see Madam Varna Sundarajan. Thank you very much, Madam. She has been our inspiration, during devotee days. Thank you very much. And coming to the ITU as a structure, because some of you may be new about WTISD as well as ITU as a whole. If you look at mobile as a device, as an instrument, standards get facilitated, developed in ITU. Okay, any of the telecommunication ICT standards, they get developed with support and participation from industry. The way you all contributed for 5GI. Okay, that is standardization is one area of work. And second important area of work is about spectrum identification, spectrum allocation, as well as radio services. This is second area of work. Third one is about development sector. The development sector is the one, a technology which doesn't go into public or mass use, perhaps it may not make any difference. So the development sector takes forward these technologies for public adoption and also facilitating policy regulation development in many countries, because the policy regulatory competencies are not that, they vary degree in different countries. It's a huge opportunity. India as a leading G5 regulatory member, you can lead even that engagement part. So these 3 sectors are also having together, I can say that 19 study groups. How we contribute in ITU engagements? Yes, one is about participating in ITU conferences, ITU meetings, ITU summits, etc. Another key area where work happens, they are study groups. We have got study groups in standards, study groups in radio sector, study groups in development sector, where the key questions of standardization get discussed. Key spectrum bands, for new technologies, new areas of work, they get discussed and decided. So these are some of the areas where, as a growing ecosystem, we encourage you to take part, as well as bring the Indian experience, how your success story is going to, contribute and influence to being an influence to the, global world. So with this, once again, we want to thank you, and we encourage and get in touch with Indian office. Mr. Shakya is, he's supporting the India office here, and there is also team Ms. Akansha and Mr. Mukesh. And we'll be more than happy to handhold you, to support you in your engagement, to work with the India area office, and as well as, regional office in general and globally. And you may be knowing that India is also the co-chair of the, Digital Innovation Board, which is having a huge influence about how ITU programs can go in partnership with the global innovation ecosystem. So once again, thanks for inviting and hosting this WTISD, because the hosting of the day and coming together is one important aspect where we can disseminate, we can share more information and understand each other. That makes a lot of difference in going forward, not only in personal relation, but also in the technology development. Thank you very much, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you, sir. It's now my pleasure to welcome Shri R. Shakya, who is currently heading the ITU Area Office for South Asia and Innovation Center, to please make an address. Prior to this, he was working as Deputy Director General International Relations with the Department of Telecommunications, and he was a focal point of India for bilateral and multilateral engagements in telecommunications field. In the past, he's worked with the Information and Communication Technology Authority and the Government of Mauritius as Senior Advisor and Acting Executive Director. He served as Chief Information Security Officer for Telecom sector of India and had chaired the Apex Committee for granting in-principle clearance to render satellite-based communication services, and also has been a member of the Governing Council of Telecommunications Standard Development of India. So, with that, I request you, Mr. Shakir sir, to please come and make an announcement.
Good evening to all, respected Chairman Lavati sir, Member Finance Sinha sir. We have our ex-Secretary Telecom, Madam Aruna Sundaram. I think we all are blessed under her guidance, and we had grown under her supervision. And I think today we are standing because of her personal care and the growth, leadership, what she wanted to inculcate in all of us. Hopefully we are touching those feet, what she wanted from us to have it. Mr. Akhilesh, my friend Kishore Babu, who is the real representative of the ITU because he has resigned from the DOT and had taken full-time absorption in the ITU. So he is the permanent staff of the United Nations under the ITU Jakarta. Mr. Gupta and my friend. So after receiving the request from Mr. T.V. Ramachandran, he informed the local area office of ITU that they are going to celebrate World Telecom and the Information Society Day on 15th. Will I be available? So as you know, I am on the deputation from the Department of Telecommunications. Sometimes it's become very difficult to decide whether I will represent DOT or I will be representing the ITU. So to have the better clarity, I forwarded the request to our regional office, and they said, we are sending Kishore Babu. I said, okay, very happy for me. Now probably my work is reduced. But you know Ramachandran sir, he said, okay, he is coming file, he will represent ITU, but we still want you. So I think, thanks a lot for inviting me. So let me express my view, not as the ITU person, of course I may touch little on that, but as an individual looking into the Indians' current technology trends and the expectations from the digital innovation ecosystem. See, if there is a simple question, if we ask that what is the most prominent thing which has been inclusive, including financial inclusion, the product which is sustainable, affordable, and which is ubiquitous, as Mr. Gupta was sharing. Can anyone of us guess? And which has been accepted worldwide without any concern. Mobile is, I think, not our product. The Indian innovation which has come, the best of the world, I think that is UPI. All of us agree? The person who is selling tea, coffee, vegetable, or diamonds, all can access the technology. The cost of per transaction, I think nobody is bothered what it is. That kind of the digital innovation is required to really meet out the sustainable development goals of the 2030. When we talk of the, say, poverty eradication, when we talk of having the gender equality, such kind of the innovative technologies we need. I'm happy since morning all of you are listening the very technical words. I thought let me do not use those jargons. We talk of the Wi-Fi 6. We talk of IMT 2030. Sometimes we use 6G. We too talk of the satellite, multiple technologies. You come from the, say, GSOs, the MEOs, then the LEOs. But I think as a citizen, what I'm interested, I do not want to learn any of these technology. That is not my job. That is the job of all the friends of you who are there. What as a citizen is expected, we want to have the ubiquitous connectivity, yes, sustainable connectivity, affordable connectivity. But without discriminating whether the service is being rendered to me over the satellite, or the service is being rendered to me over IMT, or being rendered to me over Wi-Fi 6, or maybe some other technology which may come in the days forward. The important thing is whatever technology you may come out with, it should be available, inclusive of everyone, including finance. It's nice to talk that the 1 trillion out of the 5 trillion will come from the ICT. Wonderful, good news. But what happened, despite of 20% of the GDP coming from the ICT, part of the society is left away. The government of India is taking wonderful steps. There is a plan as per the announcement by the Honorable Prime Minister, fiber to each village. Wonderful plan. Right? We have the plan to have ring kind of the formation even at the Gram Panchayat level, so the fiber cut and all do not impact that. Plan to provide the sustainable energy support there, so if even power is not available, the system should not fail. But the reality is that despite of all the possible efforts being made by the government, inclusivity is still a big challenge, because when the operator says it is non-commercial activity in the rural, I think we fail as a policy formulation officers, policy making, decision making entities. What has gone wrong? That when the UPI gets designed, when the digital identity gets designed, we are able to deliver at the most affordable cost. But something is wrong in our systems when we are talking of the providing broadband connectivity to the rural, not going at the same pace. We do understand there are concerns with respect to the capex involved, but I think requirement of the capex, revenue to the government coming from the, say, spectrum auction, the money being spent by the government under the USOF fund in the different schemes, ultimately we have to achieve that inclusivity. Then only we can think of the positive growth, making everybody's life happy. We all are in the welfare state, and I think it's our endeavor. It is where we all have to join hands together, make the system good, develop the nice technologies, whether it is for the indoors coverage, whether it is for the good quality of service, whether it is for the affordability. I think the biggest challenge for all of us is to take all 140 crore of the Indians together in the same happiness label. And I think with that request, I take my seat back. Only thing on behalf of the ITU, I would like to make a request. India office is unique in another sense, my friend has very well brought out. That is, ITU area office not only the area for the Southeast covering 7 countries, but it has the Global Innovation Center. So if we have anything with respect to the global innovation or innovation which we feel to take it globally, I think this is the best place. Kindly come forward, share your views, your best possible efforts we will be providing from the area office. And is already there, and he is part of the regional office as well. We will make him also a request that whatever we want to demonstrate from the India, we shall be able to take it forward to whole of the world. Certainly, certain technologies we are taking forward, And we wish all of you to join the efforts of the ITU, join the efforts of the DOT, as including an individual's effort to make the life of the others happy. I think you can be happy when you make others happy. There is nothing better to make you more happy, more pleasant, other than making others happy, making others comfortable. That will give you better life, more satisfaction, and I think that is the requirement of the day. Thank you. Thanks a lot. And I again wish all of you World's Telecom and Information Day greetings, although it is going to happen on 17th. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Shakya sir, for that very positive invitation to encourage innovation. With that, I have the pleasure of inviting Mr. Akhilesh Srivastav, Honorary Principal Advisor to BIF. He's a great infrastructure expert, and he's an IT advisor to the Uttarakhand government and to NITI Aayog. Sir, I request you to please join us.
Respected Chairman TRI, Mr. Lahoti, Aruna Madam, distinguished guest on this dais and guest of the dais. Special thank to TV sir for and the Broadband India Forum for inviting me to address this. Though I'm a part of you as an advisor, but still it's a privilege to interact with and talk to the experts in this particular domain. The topic I was listening, firstly, very happy, I mean, though it's on 17th, but you are celebrating it, so my best wishes and congratulations to everyone for the Telecom Day. The topic was innovative technologies for sustainable development. I was just going through how can be, so, ladies and nothing can be more democratic than technology. When we talk about technology, technology doesn't distinguish between gender, between the person from which strata, which caste, religion, or anybody. Everybody is democratic for the technology. And that's the beauty of it. When you create inclusiveness, this automatically brings the sustainability, at least in the ecosystem. I can cite many examples as an IT advisor to Government of Uttarakhand. We implemented very recently an e-governance program that's called Apni Sarkar, and happy to share that it was honored by, it was Honorable Prime Minister judged this as one of the best e-service program in the country. Here, this is not a simple e-governance program, but it's a kind of proactive with an added feature of AI on that. The citizens, of course, they can avail almost 900 plus services online. They can track also where is their application lying, and they can avail those services. They can see when at which stage their applications are pending. But the beauty is that it's proactive. So if somebody has taken some service and then he wants to, the system automatically calculates if somebody has taken a birth certificate of the child through online service and the child is 3-year-old. Next year automatically this sends a reminder to the citizen that now your child is due for a school, and these are the 5 sets of school available in your area with their whatever available ranking, though it's not fully updated, but still it gives us. Similarly, when a lot of people are asking for some disease are there, so it is giving like Char Dham Yatra. We could track, last 2 days, there were more than 1 lakh people only for one pilgrimage Kedarnath. It's without technology, it could have been literally impossible to manage such a big crowd. So the technology, there is no doubt that provides you a lot of innovation in the technology, gives sustainability. Another thing which we implemented in Uttarakhand, I will again like to share these things which I have been involved, is the Swamit Yojana. Though Swamit is there in some of the other states, but Uttarakhand being a hilly state, mapping of the hilly terrains and then the land parcels was one of the toughest. Other places we are doing using the drone, but here drone was also a challenge. So we divided into the satellite imagery, the drone imagery, and the local survey using the vehicles. And finally, we could allocate. Now, what it did, this this initiative, a lot of disputes got resolved. When we plotted these things and the Swamit, the land parcels were given to the people, the many boundary disputes, which were because of the high range of the earlier old map. Now, when it was converted into 1:2000, a lot of disputes automatically got resolved because the boundary line was exactly falling. In fact, the land parcels were automatically. This led to a revenue, and the litigations once got resolved, it led to the commercial use or the better use of that land which was lying unnecessarily in the dispute for a long time. So technology can create, brings the values which are sometimes not even imagined. Nobody is, the purpose of that Swamit Yojana was to distribute the land as per the correct boundary line. But it led to the economic growth. When this land dispute was resolved, it can be sold or it can be used for commercial purpose or bringing more revenue to the government. Similarly, there are a number of technologies I can talk, but the experts are here. We'll be listening more to them. In precision farming, we are doing one project at Hyderabad. This is from World Economic Forum. Where IoT and the drones are monitoring the area and the crop which is being shown exact with precision. They are saying how much fertilizer is required, how much irrigation is required, water is precious. So that's adding to the sustainability, health, and Saki already spoke about the your digital. He said about the UPI. See, the UPI is the biggest game changer in the fintech, financial sector. When we talk about UPI, even a smallest vendor, when I was a few days back, I was in Amsterdam, and there was a challenge when still they use a lot of currency notes and the credit card. Sometimes it works, and many times doesn't work. I was traveling, I just told my colleague who was representing there, I said, see, had it been on a place we were stalled at a parking plaza because somebody was swiping the card and the machine was not taking it, so the boom barrier was closed and there was a queue of 5-6 vehicles. I said, had it been India, we could have taken hardly 30 seconds or 20 seconds. Either there could have been a QR code or there have been some system like FASTag, which opens the barrier the moment you approach there. Fortunately, I was involved with FASTag, so just referring that as well. So these are the things, actually they are creating the sustainability in the ecosystem. 6G, which was a topic, I'm sure it will bring 5G we are using in road safety with CV2X. That's another sustainable way to solve the road safety problem in India. So there are a number of technologies, but I will be listening more to our experts on these things. Once again, my thanks to Broadband India Forum for inviting me for this and hosting this wonderful conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for those insights. I now have the pleasure to invite our chairperson, Madam Aruna Sundararajan. She's very well known. She's been Secretary METI, she's been Secretary Telecom, and Chairman of the Digital Commission. She's been instrumental in the NDCP 18 launch. Ma'am, please, with that brief introduction, I call you up. Please speak. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that introduction. Chairman Try, my colleagues, and rather I should say friends from DOT, from the ITU. I'm very delighted to see Mr. Kishore Babu here. Each of you, whether you're from TRI or DOT or ITU, all of you have, I think, at least during my tenure, you have not merely been supportive, each one of you has been a leader, and I'm really truly delighted to see you in the positions that you currently are, where you are making a big difference to growing the digital ecosystem. My other friends and dignitaries from here, Chairman of Bharat Exhibitions, who has been a key partner and supporter of BIF, the doyen of all of us, Mr. T.V. Ramachandran, who is instrumental in bringing all of us together here. At the outset, let me add my own words of welcome. I wished I had been here today morning, but due to unavoidable circumstances, I could only join you, and apologies for being a little late. I'm particularly grateful to Chairman Trai for being here on this occasion. I think thanks to, age and the fact that I've had the unique opportunity of being in the digital sector for a long time, I'm perhaps one of the few people who actually had the unique privilege of being at the first World Summit on Information Societies way back in 2002 in Tunis. So at that time, the concept of information society was still largely an evolving idea. Today, of course, we have reached a stage where everything is digital, everything is information, and we cannot imagine a world which is otherwise. In fact, I myself am just coming from a detailed presentation on AI, which was made by one of the leading organizations working in AI. And it was hard to imagine which parts of the presentation related to reality and which related to science fiction, because both were seamlessly merged. And he was actually speaking about how ideas and intelligence will or are on the way to becoming commoditized. And he was speaking about companies which are now factories that manufacture boxes in outer space. And he was specifically talking about, 2 or 3 companies, for example, where if you give the virtual list of inputs and the process, they can actually manufacture in boxes, in payloads in space, because some processes require that level of, sanitization, etc. And you can have, so he was talking specifically about, protein formulations, new materials which need to be manufactured, and things like drug discovery platforms, etc., which will move to these kinds of environments. So it was honestly something that is hard to imagine, but clearly it is a world which we are moving towards. And we all know that because our children remind us every day that this is what is happening. So this initial days of the information society, etc., people had still to realize that all this rested on a substrate of telecommunication. And that is why, today telecommunications is coming to center stage, because telecommunication is what is linking ideas to intelligence and information. So if these 3 I's have to come together, then we need telecommunications. And nobody, I'm sure, needs much elaboration on this point, because all of you are in some way or the other working on this agenda. This was also a time when Indian innovation was always striving to catch up with best practice globally. But today, as many of the speakers have pointed out, India is actually setting the next practice. So you're moving from a scenario in which we were struggling to catch up with best practice. Today we are actually setting next practice. For example, whether it is UPI. So let me tell you why digital and India are such powerful, are such a powerful union, because I don't know how many of you are aware that in terms of software, India's software exports are larger than what Saudi Arabia exports as oil. We all know Saudi Arabia exports oil, but we don't realize that Indian exports of software is as big, if not slightly bigger than that. So that's what makes us a software power. And today, if you look at what are called global capability centers, I think almost the top 1,000 largest global capability centers are operating out of India. And now the next wave is that SME companies globally, which are also going to set up global capability centers, because everything is now possible. Virtual is what is key to bringing down costs and to promote innovation. So one is software. Again, let us look at telecoms. Until 2014, maybe even 2016, telecoms, India was still a growing power in telecoms. But today, given the rate at which India is consuming data, the rate at which we are creating data, the rate at which 5G has been rolled out, in telecoms also, India is actually setting next practice. And I am sure that with my younger colleagues, whether in TRI or in the DOT, you will continue to see how India can remain ahead of the rest of the world in telecom. Third, look at the digital public infrastructure. There is no other country in the world which has such a compelling digital public infrastructure. Today, the digital public infrastructure spans not just the JAM Trinity with which we started in 2014. Today, it includes UPI, it includes the India Stack, it includes GST, it includes the ONDC, and now the government, which is being very proactive, is also working to put in a DPI in artificial intelligence, so that public compute infrastructure and public compute capability can actually be made available. And as all of you probably already know, the Indian government is one of the pioneers in deploying AI for improving service delivery. So if we combine this kind of prowess in software, telecoms, DPI, and AI, the Indian digital ecosystem is certainly going to be one of the most powerful, the most inclusive, and one of the most comprehensive digital ecosystems that we can find anywhere. And that is where today's theme becomes relevant, because we need to see how this digital public ecosystem can actually solve the problems and challenges of development and sustainable development that we face in India. And so this theme is very apt. All the efforts that all of you are going to be putting in will make a direct impact on how this ecosystem is going to be developed and how it is going to actually impact each and every citizen in India. To remain ahead, clearly, India must continue to be at the forefront of providing access, inclusive, affordable, and sustainable access to everybody. We need to be at the head of promoting digital innovation systems. So I would urge that any decision taken by DOT or TRAI must keep in mind what will be the impact of each one of its recommendations or decisions on digital access to the ordinary citizen. On BIF's part, under the leadership of Mr. T.V. Ramachandran, BIF has been working with DOT, it has been working with TRAI, it has been working with IT and all of industry to promote, to grow the digital ecosystem, to provide information and research that is unbiased and neutral, that will help in taking the right kind of decisions. And I hope that BIF will continue to work and partner with all of you to make sure that India gets the inclusive and sustainable, digital ecosystem that the citizens deserve. Once again, thank you very much for the opportunity, and I'm very grateful to all the distinguished dignitaries for having taken time out to be here today.
Thank you, ma'am, for your very wise words. I now have the pleasure of inviting Shri Manish Sinha, Member Finance, Department of Telecommunications, to address us next. Mr. Manish Sinha is a 1989 batch officer of the Indian P&T accounts. And finance service. He's had vital experience in dealing with billing systems and FMS software in MTNL, and thereafter had experience in banking and vigilance sections in BSNL. And he's worked in planning and procurement division of DOT, followed by another stint as DDG license finance. He's dealt with the entire gamut of licenses and spectrum during his stay in TRAI for 2.5 years. In addition, he has also worked for 4.5 years in the Department of Post, dealing with all postal services, banking, PLI, etc. Shri Manish Sinha is an alumni of St. Stephen's College and then did his PG Diploma in Financial Management from IGNOU, followed by his MBA from University of Birmingham, United Kingdom. And recently in 2016, he obtained an MPhil degree from Punjab University as part of the APPA program at IIPA. He was a recipient of the silver medal in this program, and interestingly, the subject of research for his MPhil course was net neutrality. Sir, please.
Thank you for the wonderful introduction. That was in great detail. Chairman TRAI, Madam Secretary DOT, other friends on the stage. Let me first thank the organization for inviting me to address this World Telecommunication and Information Society Day. For us who have been constantly working in telecom, it's a favorite day of the year because from the beginning, we have been celebrating this day as the World Telecom Day, and then it kind of grew into Information Society Days also. Of course, when I joined Telecom, and I think that was almost the same time that Mr. Ramachandran would have been there, we are still in single digits of teledensity. And I think looking at the telecom sector itself, it has come a very, very long way. And the kind of conversations we are having today, it makes us feel as if we are living in the age of dinosaurs, so far as telecom sector was concerned in the late 90s. It's not been very many years, but in a period of about 25 to 30 years, the entire space has changed amazingly. And sometimes when we look back, it's difficult to fathom how fast each generation of telecommunication technology and telecommunication ecosystem, how fast it is changing, and the life cycle of each generation is coming down. We have kind of chosen this year for bridging the digital divide for sustainable development. And India, as it grows, the economy grows, there are two sides of the picture. One is the new things that come into on the telecom sector. And on the other side, there is a lot of the population, especially the rural population, which still needs to be included in the telecom network itself. So it's a two-sided growth that we are having in our country. Though the statistics are very good for urban areas, in the rural areas, we're still at 58-60% of the tele-density. And that part of it needs to be taken care of. The digital Bharat Nidhi now, which is the USOF fund, has been working for almost 22 years now. But this is one objective, the objective of delivery of broadband to each individual in the country. That still remains at a stage where a lot more has to be achieved. Towards this, recently there have been a large number of programs most of you must be aware of. One was the saturation of 4G itself, the other provision of optic fiber connectivity to all the blocks and the gram panchayats. If things roll out as planned, maybe in 2 or 3 years, we would have effectively connected the entire country, either on 4G or on optic fiber. So that's a very ambitious target that we have set, though these targets do keep getting revised over the years. We also implemented 2 projects, one in the Andaman and Nicobar, the Kani, and then the Lakshadweep, where also we have delivered high-speed broadband to these islands, and perhaps more FTTH connections are being provided through this connectivity, and which leads to the inclusion of new population that is getting connected to the telecom network. There has been a lot of conversation about the UPI as being a very key user platform, a platform which allows users to come on digital infrastructure. But way back in 2013, this all started with NPCI providing a switch to connect the 2 primary contributors to this market. One was the telcos, the other were the bankers. The first switch was only for a feature phone. And for the first time, TRI had then made it mandatory that this connectivity is to be given by all operators for all kinds of transactions in the bank. And that action of TRI led to revolutionary usage. So innovation in any area is possible, and it's possible in a very big way. And it happens in a different manner in each country. I remember at that time we also got exposed to the Professor Kundu, who was the central banker in Kenya, where the telco-led model is to work. And I had an opportunity to meet him, and I asked him, sir, what did you do that Vodafone was able to create such a market? So after some time he said, we did nothing. Every month somebody would come and say that, look, the telco is taking deposits, the telco, and he kept saying, no, hold on. Probably he'll come off with something good, and that is what kind of, in a way, revolutionized the genesis of what you call the UPI or Jan Dhan, the revolution that happened in Kenya. So very often, by not regulating something, you can also become a very good supporter of innovation. So that's something I very vividly remember from that interaction with him. Of course, more digital literacy, more digital youth coming into the economy, all these sectors of the economy getting together and enabling transactions into more areas of the various sectors in the economy. These are things that are leading to growth, the digital growth that is happening in the country. A few days back, I was listening to a ITU conversation, Kishore Babu may be aware, where they are trying to redefine ubiquitous. So now they are saying, so as we grow in technology, they say ubiquitous is whether something is available outdoor as well as indoor. So that is the kind of definitions that we are talking about while transiting from one generation of technology to another generation. This was mostly in reference to 5G technology being aware. Way back in the 90s when I had joined the telecoms, we used to fix telephone tariffs as a single provider. And at that time, consumer surplus, which means the replacement cost for a consumer by using this connectivity, that used to be a very favored concept for deciding what would be the tariff. I think even today it's very relevant because eventually more and more people, why do they join the network? Why do they get connected to the network? So ultimately it is the use case. The more the use case, the better the use case, more and more people come and use these digital platforms to engage with other sectors of the economy as well as to engage between individuals also. And that is what leads to increasing usage, more effective information exchange, more effective transactions, and thereby leading to growth in the digital connectivity. Last, I would also like to point out what is happening in the spectrum sector, something that was in favor. Mr. Ramachandran this morning was expressing his angst over what the government would be doing. But the good thing is that the allocation of spectrum itself, we are working in 5 megahertz blocks, and then we grew to 10 megahertz, and at some point 20. Now we are talking of hundreds of megahertz to be allocated. So 5G in some ways has kind of revolutionized the manner in which we are able to allocate spectrum itself. I was lucky to be there at the WRC, and I'm looking at IMT spectrum is growing in leaps and bounds. Probably in the next 4 to 5 years, we are likely to have about 23 to 2500 megahertz available. And with that kind of scale of spectrum being available, the extent of usage is almost limitless. And I think the delivery of broadband capacities will also go up significantly high all over the world. All countries are looking at that kind of a growth in IMT. Of course, when that happens, the decentralized, the other part of the spectrums will also become available, because what I am noticing is already the older generation spectrum is getting spare. People don't want to use spectrum that they delivered 2G and 3G on. So there is an opportunity there, and perhaps the demand for non-licensed spectrums will also be able to be fulfilled. So these are some of the good policy developments that are likely in the coming years, and it will help both the growth of IMT as well as innovation activities that happen in an unlicensed spectrum ecosystem. So I hope with these words I can close, and I can wish that whatever is the requirement of all parts of the sector for a sustainable development in the coming years, that should be achieved with changes in the Act as well as the significant changes that will come about in the coming years on spectrum allocation as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for sharing some very interesting insights into the future prospects, sir. We are now privileged to have with two very televisions on the ITU theme from the ITU headquarters through the kind offices in support of Mr. Shakia and Mr. Kishore Babu. We have Dr. Cosmos Zava, Director Development, who's sent us a brief message. It's a recorded message. And then we have a message from the Secretary General, Ms. Doreen Bogdan Martin, who would give us a message. I request the first video to be played. They're very brief, so please listen.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. Yep. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, happy World Telecommunication and Information Society Day, which we observe annually on May 17th. I understand you are celebrating 2 days before the rest of us. Congratulations, you are ahead of the rest of us. I would like to thank Broadband India Forum for the commitment and consistency in celebrating this important day. We also congratulate you for your tireless efforts in the development and the deployment of the broadband ecosystem in India. The Telecommunication Development Bureau is proud to have you as our associate sector member, and thank you for promoting, supporting, and enhancing the policy, regulatory, and the standards framework to ensure the availability of high-quality broadband across the country. We recognize your work seeking to unite all relevant stakeholders on this important matter. As you know, this year's theme of the World Telecommunication and Information Society Day is Digital Innovation for Sustainable Development. Digital innovation and technological advancements go hand in hand and are an integral part of our daily lives. They have the transformative power to address the most pressing global challenges, from climate change to inequality, from rendering education accessible to facilitating remote health care. However, they both require high-capacity transmission, and that is what broadband provides. Ladies and gentlemen, broadband technologies are no longer luxuries but necessities. In India, a country that has had a robust digital growth trajectory, broadband is the backbone of the burgeoning digital economy. India has also emerged as a global leader in digital innovation, and I congratulate you on this. Initiatives like Digital India have transformed access to digital public services through, for example, the Unified Payments Interface and the National Digital ID, Aadhaar. Furthermore, India has already made great strides in not only bringing better digital connectivity, but into making technology affordable to the masses. Notably, mobile broadband data in India is one of the most affordable in the world, at only 1.1% of the gross national income per capita. Still, the road in realizing these benefits has challenges, which include connecting those in the poorest and remotest parts, as well as reducing the gender and skills digital divide. This is why ITU is working hand in hand with the Indian government to ensure universal connectivity and sustainable digital transformation. In March 2023, we inaugurated the ITU area office for South Asia in Delhi and also launched an innovation center, which has already started collaborating with the Innovation and Entrepreneurship Alliance for Digital Development. Let me just say that I launched the alliance with the aim of accelerating and mainstreaming emerging technologies towards inclusive and equitable digital transformation, which, as we all know, is the key to achieving sustainable development. The Alliance has also started reinforcing South-South and triangular cooperation, and I'm proud to say that Dr. Niraj Mittal, Vice Minister Secretary of India's Department of Telecommunications, is co-chair of this initiative run by the board. Ladies and gentlemen, without innovation, there is no future. Therefore, may your World Telecommunication and Information Society Day celebration be a memorable one. On this day, let us reaffirm our commitment to transform industries, improve lives, and address some of the most pressing challenges that we face. Now, here lies the power of innovation. I thank you.
Our thanks to Dr. Cosmas Zavazava. I would request the video for Secretary General Ms. Doreen Bogdan-Martin to be played, please.
This year, ITU is marking our anniversary by celebrating the power of digital innovation for prosperity. Our innovative history goes back decades. Check out this blast from the past. No matter how far back in time we look, or how fast technology moves, innovation has always been a uniquely human endeavor. It starts with people like Joseph Woto. After taking an e-commerce training course by ITU, and the Food and Agriculture Organization. Joseph set up a digital marketplace to sell turmeric from Papua New Guinea. Innovation can start with anyone. Digital not only gives us the power to connect our ideas, it also helps us to connect each other. And even connect every school in the world to the internet. Join us online for ITU's 159th anniversary on May 17th. Together, let's celebrate the power of innovation, driving sustainable prosperity for all.
Our sincere thanks to Secretary General Ms. Doreen Bogdan-Martin of ITU and to Dr. Cosmos Zawazawa, Director Development Bureau BDT of ITU, and our thanks to Mr. Shakya and Mr. Kishore Babu for arranging their message. Thank you, sirs. It is now my proud privilege to invite our chief guest of the evening, Shri Anil Kumar Lahoti, Chairman TRAI. Shri Anil Kumar Lahoti is an officer of the Indian Railway Service of Engineers from the 1984 batch. He had superannuated as Chairman and CEO Railway Board on 31st August 2023 after a career spanning about 37 years in the Indian Railways. He is a graduate in Civil Engineering from Madhav Institute of Technology and Science, Gwalior, with a gold medal, and his master's degree in Engineering with Structures from IIT Roorkee. He has worked in various positions in the Central, Northern, North Central, Western and West Central Railway, as well in the Railway Board, and we are very pleased that today he is the Chairman of TRAI to support our industry too. Sir, thank you. We look forward to your wise wisdom and advice, sir, and request you to please address the audience. Thank you, sir. I request you all to give a very warm welcome to Mr. Lahoti.
Thank you very much. Ms. Aruna Sundarajan ji, Chairperson of BIF, as well as ex-Secretary Telecom and Secretary MIT. Mr. Manish Sinha, Member Finance of the Digital Communication Commission. All my colleagues on the dais and in the audience. First of all, I thank BIF for inviting me, on this occasion to be with you on the World Telecommunication and Information Society Day. And I convey my heartiest congratulations to all of you. We are from the same community. The day is on 17th May. We are celebrating in advance on 15th, and I convey my best wishes to all of you. And as my previous speakers have said, this is the most happening sector in the world now, and we are happy and privileged to be part of this sector and to be contributing to the growth of this sector. And the day is very aptly named World Telecommunication and Information Society Day. And I think this name came in the year 2006, prior to which its earlier avatar was World Telecommunication Day. And I think the two things, the telecommunication and information society, are deeply intertwined. You cannot imagine information society without telecommunication. And the topic for this day, the digital innovation for sustainable development. It couldn't have been more topical and more apt than what is stated here. The 17 Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations cover almost all the challenges presently being faced by the world, ranging from eradicating poverty and hunger to ensuring good health, education, equality and justice for all, economic, agricultural and industrial growth, to conservation of water, climate, ocean, ecology, and so on. With the advent of technology, digitalization is now touching and enabling every aspect of the Sustainable Development Goals. Therefore, access to affordable and reliable digital communication is fundamental in bridging the digital divide and ensuring equal opportunity to all. Innovation is the key to unlock the potential of technology and driving sustainable development. Governments across the world, along with the United Nations agencies, including ITU, are working tirelessly in bridging the digital divide and creating a more inclusive and sustainable future for all. The Indian telecommunication sector is the second largest in the world by subscribers with 1.2 billion wireless and fixed line subscribers. India has 917 million broadband subscribers, which includes 40 million wireline and 877 million wireless broadband subscribers. India has also emerged as the second largest manufacturer of mobile handsets in the world and is also the second largest mobile market. The nation's flourishing information and communication technology contributes almost 13% to the national GDP. According to NASSCAM, the Indian IT industry's revenue was estimated to be $245 billion in the financial year 23. Notably, India also has the highest 87% adoption rate of fintech globally, which surpasses the global average of 64%. Mr. Aruna Sundarajan has already talked about the India's digital public infrastructure, which has the main components of Janadhan, Aadhaar, and Mobile Trinity, the UPI. Also, the ONDC is now becoming an important component. The common service centers and the BharatNet is providing the connectivity through the Universal Service Obligation Fund. Under the Jan Dhan scheme, just to understand its reach, 517 subscribers have already connected on this, and more than 4 billion DBT transactions took place in 23-24 alone. In the UPI, just to take the figures of 1 month alone, in the month of April 24, more than 13 billion transactions took place in India and valuing more than 235 billion US dollars. The work done by NIPL is being taken by many countries more than 20 countries have partnered with NIPL to adopt the unified united payment interface. We have nearly 5.9 lakh common service centers which are providing the services at the doorstep of the citizen. ONDC network already which was launched in 2021 with an open protocol to facilitate a democratized e-commerce platform, already has more than 3 lakh merchants onboarded, and it crossed 7.5 million transactions in February 2024 alone. And quite prominently, auto rickshaw drivers have started using the ONDC platform, which is a very good successful story of this platform. Talking about the sustainable development, the upgradation of technology itself is playing a role in the energy efficiency. The upgradation from 4G to 5G network is estimated to bring about 90% more efficiency per unit of data transmission. However, with the 5G and the increase in the data growth and the higher density of 5G towers, the demand for energy is growing. And to deal with that, 3GPP has defined energy efficiency KPIs as part of its Release 17. And many energy efficient processes are being adopted to control the energy consumption. This includes energy efficient data processing, chipsets, energy efficient cooling, intelligent and dynamic controls of the RAN and core, and improvements in the installation and test processes for optimization, etc. India's fastest rollout of the 5G mobile services, we all know about it, and now already more than 4.5 lakh towers have been erected. The government is also constantly encouraging innovation in 5G, and we just heard that we have developed our own standard 5GI, which particularly takes care of low number of users in a large cell area, which has been included in the 3GPP, 5G standards. Government has, through budgetary support, set up 5G testbeds at IIT Delhi and IIT Madras, which has been followed up at other IITs and IISc also. The government has also set up an inter-ministerial group to work out 5G use cases which are India specific, and has also set up a scheme for 100 5G test labs to test the use cases developed by Indian entrepreneurs and to let them mature at these places. The 6G technology, which will be the technology of the future, is expected to be more energy efficient. It is one of the items of its vision and is a part of the targets of the 6G technology. India is also moving ahead with its vision for 6G with the launch of Bharat 6G vision by Honorable Prime Minister last year. The academia, along with the government and the regulator, are working together at a rapid pace to roll out 6G global standards out of India. The government has set itself a target that at least 10% of the global IPR in 6G must come from India. So as now, instead of following the standards, we will be setting the standards for the world. The startup movement of India, which started in 2015, has become a hotbed for digital innovation. We have today more than 1 lakh startups, majority of whom are in the digital sector. We are also #1 nation today in the world when it comes to number of startups which have evolved into unicorns. That is more than 100 of them. The remarkable growth of startups has happened due to the synergistic combination of Indian innovation and government facilitation. Recently, TRAI has also made its recommendations on the concept of regulatory sandbox, which is a step in the direction to encourage digital innovation by startups. This will permit a technology innovator to try and test its product without any regulatory roadblocks. India has also seen exponential growth in data usage during the last decade. The data usage volume has reached more than 50,000 petabytes in 2023. And now the data consumption per subscriber is more than 20 GB, and the data cost is just slightly over 9 rupees per GB, which is among the cheapest in the world. In terms of data speed also, Ookla has ranked India 14th globally, with a median 5G download speed of 301 Mbps. Now, this is the success story of the mobile. If you look at the wired broadband subscribers in India stood at 39 million in February 2024. However, the potential or the in wired broadband connectivity is much large. We have more than 300 million households in the country, and plus there are enterprises. So this shows the enormous scope in expanding the reach of wired broadband. However, the growth is also equally fast. The number of wired broadband connections now has increased 20% over the last year. And government has taken several initiatives to increase the fiber-based broadband penetration. One of the major impediments in the broadband penetration has been the right of way, and government is constantly working on easing the right of way policies. The challenge remains bringing the state governments and the local authorities on board, and the various other public sectors and authorities having land holdings where the fiber is required to be laid to bring them on board. And I think in that regard, the new Telecom Act provides a very good provision by way of which the government will be able to lay down certain timelines and the ceiling rates which can be charged on the ROW permission, and hopefully this will be a significant change in facilitating the ROW permissions. Another challenge which my previous speakers talked about is the connectivity inside the buildings. In this regard, TRAI has given its recommendations for in-building infrastructure, digital connectivity infrastructure should be a part of the building construction itself, just like water supply, the sewerage and the electrical infrastructure inside any built environment. The digital connectivity infrastructure should also be provided. Right now, the situation is quite different. Today, when a builder is building any commercial or residential or public infrastructure, they are exploiting digital connectivity as a source of revenue earning. So instead of providing it as an infrastructure, so probably this calls for a change, a significant change in the approach, the way our lives are becoming dependent on digital connectivity. So TRAI has already recommended in this regard. The recommendations are under active consideration of the Department of Telecommunication, and they have formed a committee along with the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development. TRAI officers are also associated in various deliberations, and we hope that the necessary provisions in the form of a separate chapter on digital connectivity should come through in the model building bylaws. We are also trying that the National Building Code provisions are also further strengthened so that they become a reference document for digital connectivity inside the buildings. Fixed wireless access is another thing which has come with the help of 5G, and I think that provides that holds a very good promise in terms of providing broadband connectivity and could be a very quick solution to the ROW problems where the laying the fiber is difficult, particularly the last mile connectivity. And already one of the telecom operators, that is Jio, has already started providing FWA connections, and it is growing very fast. Another operator is also likely to launch the FWA services soon. And according to a Ericsson mobility report, by 2029 or so, the world will have around 330 million FWA connections, of which 75% are expected to be in India. So that holds a very good promise in terms of providing digital broadband connectivity. Another thing is the development in the Wi-Fi, the advanced systems of Wi-Fi, that is Wi-Fi 6 and Wi-Fi 7. of course, which will have much better speeds and much better technology. This also holds promise for providing public broadband through the PM Vani, where better bandwidth and speed can help the public broadband utility much better. Of course, this is likely to need the 6 gigahertz spectrum. The decision on how the 6 gigahertz spectrum is going to be utilized, that is still to be taken by the government, and I think it is under active deliberation, because there are obviously two conflicting demands, where one section of the industry wants it to be license free and one section wants it to be licensed. But I'm sure that the government will take the best decision in the interest of the country, and that should bring clarity about this particular aspect. TRAI has been doing its bit in facilitating the growth of digital innovation and sustainable development. And we have some of the key recommendations which TRAI has given in recent past include I would like to say, particularly when Madam is here, that for the NDCP 2018 also TRAI made significant contribution while that policy was being framed, and also for the National Broadband Mission 2019. And also in respect of the connectivity to rural and remote places through USOF, TRAI has given several recommendations. For the spectrum availability and rollout of 5G, TRAI has been giving its recommendations. It has also given recommendations on leveraging AI and ML and big data for telecom and broadcasting sectors, for the data center framework, cloud services, and making digital connectivity infrastructure as a part of each development plan. TRAI has also given recommendations on the framework for setting satellite earth stations, promoting local manufacturing of telecom and broadcasting equipment, ease of doing business in telecom and broadcasting sectors, etc. Now, while we are talking about the progress made in ICT infrastructure, we also need to look at the unevenness in the global internet connectivity, which some of the previous speakers have already talked about. The non-availability and affordability of digital connectivity in several areas or sections of the society leaves a digital divide among people, which deprives them in terms of economic and social inclusion and equality. Disparities in internet connectivity and use are not limited to geographic divide, but also include gaps based on gender, age, rural versus urban population, etc. These are also further caused due to the availability of digital skills and digital literacy and the quality of infrastructure in various areas. For for digital empowerment of these segments of society which are not equipped with enough resources to afford connectivity or devices or both, and also cannot access information due to lack of literacy, is a priority item to be addressed soon, and the government is working extensively on this. And it's a responsibility of all of us, whether in the government or in the regulation or in the industry, to see that we collaborate and accomplish the task of taking the digital connectivity and skill to each and every citizen. The use of emerging technologies based on 5G and beyond is also providing easy access to the infrastructure related to various sectors like health, education, transport, agroeconomy, access to the market, small and micro enterprises at rural and remote places, etc. And also helping in managing the disaster and calamities more effectively. And 5G will help in further strengthening this entire effort, for which we are constantly working. India comprises almost 1/6 of the humanity of the world, and it has a big role to play in achieving the sustainable development goals, which we are committed to perform. And I'm sure this conference, which has been organized today by BIF, will help in furthering this goal. With this, I once again congratulate BIF and convey my best wishes to all on this occasion. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We look forward to your valued guidance over the next few critical years. I request everyone to please stand and give a standing ovation to Anil, sir. Thank you. On behalf of the organizers, Bharat Exhibitions and Broadband India Forum, we would like, as a token of gratitude, to present mementos to our esteemed speakers. And I request on the organizers' behalf, Madam Aruna Sundarajan, to please present the mementos. First to our chief guest, Mr. Anil Kumar Lahoti. Thank you, ma'am. And to Mr. Shri Manish Sinha. And I would request memento to be presented to Mr. Akhilesh Srivastav. I would request also to have a memento presented to Shri Kishore Babu. And ma'am, one more please to Mr. R. Shakya memento. Ma'am. And with that, I request Mr. Shashidharan, CEO Bharat Exhibitions, to please give the vote of thanks.
Good evening. It's been a long day since morning at 9:30. First started with standardization, what should be the standardization for 6G, and we've been hearing, and we reached to the World Telecom Day. Sir, thank you very much, our chief guest, taking out time to join us on this World Telecom Day. On behalf of Bharat Exhibitions and Broadband India Forum, I would like to give you a special thanks for joining us on this day, sir. Thank you so much for being there, secretaries. Special thanks to Aruna madam. Madam, it's been great pleasure. I'm seeing you after a long time now. I thought that you'll be able to make it in the morning, but I know you're too busy even now after the retirement also. You're still too busy in the telecom sector. Thank you much. Thank you, madam. Thank you for joining us. Thanks to Member Finance, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for joining us, Manish Sinha ji, on this day for the World Telecom Day. Thanks to two great personalities from ITU, the Kishore Babu all the way from Jakarta. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. And to thank you, sir. Thank you for joining us on this. Thank you, S.N. Gupta ji, and thank you, Agrawal sir, for joining the World Telecom Day on this. I'd like to thank each one of you who has been joined here, and special thanks to TCIL CMD is here, the Secretary TRI is here, the Principal Advisor is here, Colonel Tiwatia Sahib is there, Brigadier, everybody is here from the industry. Thank you very much, each one of you, for joining us on this evening. I'll not take much of a time. I request all of you to join us for the dinner and enjoy the day. Thank you so much.